Hey beautiful people, welcome back to He and She Rises TV. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. Today I bring you a Valentine's Day special titled How to Love Yourself Practically. I generally feel like in the past few years, in the rise of TikTok and social media, we have been fed an illusion of what self-love is. Now, not to say that the information that social media, TikTok, Instagram and every other platform has shared with us, not to say that it's not relevant, and it definitely is a part of how we show ourselves self-love. But one thing with me, I like to start with the root of everything, because you know what, we can follow the ways of social media by buying ourselves that outfit, by taking ourselves here and there, thinking that we need to spend so much money on beauty, looks, spa and all of these things. As much as they're beautiful, this is not the root of self-love. You can do these things and gain temporary pleasure from them in the meantime, but what about long term? So today we're talking about the long term kind of self-love. Today I'm here to actually speak to the people that have struggled with loving themselves, people who grew up with no love or grew up with inconsistent kind of love. These are the people I'm actually here to speak to today. And if you are someone that you know love, hey, thank you for being here. You can still stay through this video and you can probably still gain some gems here and there. It's so important to love yourself because we live in such a dog-eat-dog world. If you don't love yourself, the next dog is gonna eat you. Because we live in a competitive society. If you're the kind of person who believes in God, then you can be rest assured that, first of all, God's love is what matters the most anyways. And this is why the Bible says that when you love God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your strength, then you love your neighbor as you love yourself. So the hierarchy is God, self, and neighbor. Okay, so let's get into the practical ways of showing yourself self-love. Like I said, it's not about the beauty on the outside. It's not about the makeup that you wear or that you purchased. It's not about the restaurants that you take yourself out to or the flowers that you buy. You have to deal with the root of where your self-love is coming from. You have to make sure that you're feeding the root of self-love, okay? So the very first thing I've shared is definitely having that hierarchy of God, self, and then others. There's a poetry by Maya Angelou where she shares, she said, I am afraid of the man who does not have anything else to offer but a shirt, and then offers that shirt to his neighbor. So he's shirtless and his neighbor is now wearing his own shirt. So this person in their mind, they're like, oh, I love my neighbor so much. I want to be so kind and helpful. And I feel like I have to take off my shirt, make myself uncomfortable to make my neighbor warm and comfortable. That's not real self-love. I actually think that that is pride in disguise of humility. I think that's pride in disguise of trying to help someone. We all call that term, this therapeutical language or psychological language, people pleaser. This is someone who people pleases. So when you're someone who people pleases, you abandon yourself to make everyone happy. So now this is why we're going to deal with the root of self-love today. How can you step into this place of self-love? You need to break the illusion of what social media has taught you. You must break the illusion and you need to go inward. Number one, you have to be honest with yourself. I talk about this in all of my videos. There is actually a video that I uploaded called Self-Transparency. If you haven't seen that video, please make sure you go and watch it. You have to start with yourself and start asking your questions. What am I lacking in me? Why is it that when that person does not respond to my text message, I feel a certain kind of way? Why is it that when I see my friends hanging out with friends and I'm not there, I feel left out? Why are you feeling this way? Because let's be very honest and true. If we really are whole as we should be, if we really are loving ourselves enough as we should be, right? We are not going to necessarily feel the need to get validated by things on the external. So whether you're feeling left out, whether a person is loving you or not, whether a person is responding to your text message or not, that does not matter. So you have to actually start questioning yourself. When you see yourself reacting in certain ways that has to do with your self-worth, your self-esteem, your confidence, and you are feeling triggered, those triggers are your answers. Those triggers are inviting you. They're inviting you to come and explore Where are we lacking? Because the truth of the matter is that we should be lacking nothing, because everything we need is within us. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm gonna be super honest. Like, I'm here talking, please don't think I've reached this like high level place of self-love. I struggle with it. Some days I struggle to love myself, and some days I'm very good at it. But one thing I have found is that consistency. You've got to be consistent with yourself. After self-honesty, you've got to come to a place where you can be consistent with yourself. So when you see that, oh, like this person is not showing up for me the way I want, and all of that, you have to show up for yourself consistently in the little ways. When you wake up in the morning, you make your bed, you do your stretch, you go to the gym, do something that pours into you. Start looking after yourself. Start asking yourself in the morning, oh, how am I feeling today? Or just checking in with yourself all through the day. Whatever it is, just that little small habit that you can add into your lifestyle that shows that you're actually checking in with your mental state, your emotional state. It doesn't matter whether that you're feeling sad or whether you're feeling happy. Just be attuned to yourself. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest with you, I think one of the things I believe is a good foundation to self-love is self-mastery. Having to know your body, your soul, and your spirit. You've got to learn the language of your body. You've got to learn the language of your emotions. You've got to learn the language of your spirit. Is my spirit starved? What does my spirit need, right? Because a lot of the times we think that we need to do all these external things. And if you can notice, I keep on emphasizing on external things because a lot of the times we think that's what's going to validate us. And to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, I would say it's only of recent that I have only begun to even come out of seeing that external things do not validate me. I have everything within me. As you can see, I've got my natural hair out today because you know what? I was thinking to myself, like, I'm really in that place in my life where I'm like, I'm really beginning to get done and over wigs, because for me personally, I feel like every time I put a wig on my head, I'm wearing someone else's identity. But when I have my beautiful locks out, this is me, who I am, who God has created me to be. My locks are natural and everything. It just makes me like feel whole. But every time I put on another wig, anytime I put on another hair, I'm not saying it's bad. It does not mean that some days I don't want to, probably look like a baddie or whatever it is that they call it. When you want to have that aesthetic look. Well, if I feel the need to want to have that aesthetic look just for the sake of it, depending on how I'm feeling, that's the thing about feminine energy. It's not necessarily about being rigid, but flowing with what your internal state is, right? But I might have some days where I feel like wearing a wig and I could just put it on. Doesn't mean anything. But the truth of the matter is that majority of the times I'm beginning to feel like anytime I put on a wig or straighten hair, whatever it is, it just does not feel natural to me. And it feels like I'm taking someone else's identity. That's a way, not everyone gets to this point, right? So this is just where I'm at in my journey. But how did I start being bold enough to even start wearing my natural hair out, right? Because before I thought, oh, my natural hair just stays at home and then every time I go out, it's just wigs. Of going to the gym consistently with my locks. And then I started using that, then going to the shops or going to like somewhere that's not too far from my house. I just started using my hair to just travel to like places that I would appear naturally or that I'll feel more natural in. And I found that making this consistent movement has actually helped me to now be able to take my hair out like on a dinner date or like even filming my video. Like this is huge for me because this is the second time that I'm filming my video with my natural hair and I'm just so proud of myself. And for anyone out there, any black woman, Afro-Caribbean woman, wherever you are, if you're a woman of ethnicity and that you've had you've hated your hair, because I used to hate my hair and that was self-hate, period. Because my excuse was that, oh, like it's so complicated, I don't know what to do with the hair, and then I was like, oh, the best option is to go and put someone else's hair on my head. That is self-abandonment. That in itself is self-rejection, whether you know it or not. Now I'm not coming here to be like, oh, I'm this natural hair advocate. Like I said, I have my moments, okay? So I'm giving you this example as a way to show you that it starts with those little consistent moves that you make as well, that has to do with who you are, your well-being on the inside, not anything that you care to show on the outside. And then after doing things consistently, what about the times when you are feeling down, when you cannot love yourself? That's the most important bit. That's the place where you need to hold yourself. You cannot abandon yourself in the pit when everyone else leaves, when it's just you and your God and the dark spot that you're in. You cannot abandon yourself. You have to look for that way to show up for you. You have to look for a way to show yourself compassion. Self-compassion. The same way you would speak to a friend going through something, it's the same way you should speak to yourself when you're going through a thing. But what happens a lot of the times, just like that Maya Angelou's poetry, we think, oh, let me just point to this person and speak all the great empowering words to this person. But in the dark, you're speaking less of yourself. In the dark, in the dark, you're not able to empower yourself like you empower others. So you need to show yourself self-compassion, and then you need to learn how to connect with yourself. Because this one is key. Key. Like, if there's anything that you hear today, take this. If you're one of those people that are like, oh, I want to be in a relationship, or you're in a relationship and you're feeling unfulfilled, when you check it, sometimes, as much as yes, everyone does have their part to play, and to an extent, we do all have to meet each other's needs to an extent, I believe personally. But I still strongly believe that the root is being whole in who you are, right? Finding everything that you need in Christ. But let's be real. There's a reason why God created us humans this much, because we need each other. We do need to learn to be interdependent, right? Not codependent, but interdependent. So this is where, for those people that are seeking connection, wants to be in a relationship, this and that, the truth of the matter is that a relationship will not fulfill you. A relationship will not fill you, because at the end of the day, both you and your partner, you're meant to be whole human beings coming together to become one, and not half. And then, I mean, some days, depending on how life plays out, these things can be flexible, can flow. But I guess when you do have the right resources and wisdom on how you need to navigate through it, it all balances out. But I want you to remember, like, what I'm trying to say is that it starts with you. A relationship is not going to fulfill you for real. You can have the best man in your life. You can have the best woman in your life, yeah? But you can still be out there looking for something to fill you up. You can be looking for substances or distractions. I'm not even gonna lie, I can be quite vulnerable that as of recently, I went through a process in my relationship where I was feeling quite unsatisfied. And honestly, I had to go deep down into myself. And I know that as much as my partner does have a part to play in, being interdependent, I know that whatever it is I was seeking, whatever it was that I really was seeking was within me. And like I said, sometimes this is where humans help us with that interdependence. This is why you need to know what you need. You need to know what it is that you need and what it is that you feel like you are consciously lacking. The reason why I say consciously lacking is because we have everything within us, and if we just go within, we will find it. And it's not easy. Even I saying this, I have to say that there's some days that I struggle with knowing that everything I need is within me. I have to be very honest, I struggle with it sometimes, but that is a fact and that's a truth, because the word of God says that the Lord is my shepherd and I shall not lack. And if I am one with God and God is in me, then I can lack nothing. But some days I struggle with it, and some days I get it right. But it's one of those things that helps us, build us to, and helps us to grow and move forward, and to just learn how. Wow, that's rain. Showers of blessing. And just learn how to love ourselves, right? So make sure that you're not going out there seeking a connection or whatever it is to help you, to make you feel loved. Because if you don't start by loving you, no one else is going to love you correctly or even enough. So it all starts with you. Another thing is that you got to learn to forgive yourself, because we're going to make mistakes. In this life, that's how we learn. You keep making mistakes. And there's some mistakes that are going to actually drive you to a point of shame, but you're going to have to learn to forgive you. Like, you're going to have to learn to be like, you know what, Ungazi, we messed up there. Or that person really, that decision that we made, right, has really, really hurt us. I'm not really proud of this decision right now. What I did was out of order. But you know what? I forgive me. And And this is why when you're self-transparent with yourself, you can easily forgive yourself. But when you're not self-transparent with yourself and you are just moving on illusions or just not really understanding who you are as a person, you're going to be hard on yourself. You're going to struggle with shame because you keep on saying, oh, I'm a good person. I'm very intelligent. I do this, I do that, I have wisdom and all that. But then you're making mistakes that you're not proud of. And then because you're being aware of that is then pulling you into a place of shame. But when you're aware, when you're conscious, when it's in the light and you can see, right, you can be like to myself, I forgive me. I can try and see how I can do better next time. Last but not the least, with self-love is also allowing yourself to rest. To rest from the performance of the world. To rest from the circus that we've been called to play in society. Rest. You don't have to wear the mask. You don't have to wear what society is forcing you. Find who you are within and rest within that. Rest within that without the performance. Also, allowing grief without self-judgment. Because you know, when we're going through grief sometimes, especially maybe a breakup, we feel like, oh, like maybe if I did this differently, you know, or you just start questioning, analyzing yourself and all of those things. And then you start getting hard on yourself. It's very similar to self-forgiveness. You just allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to feel that breakup. Don't be so prideful in your heart. Like, oh, look at me. How can I grieve that relationship? That guy meant nothing to me. That girl meant nothing to me. Yeah, 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 yeah. And you keep on saying that, and you keep on suppressing emotions and suppressing things that you should be feeling in the moment. And then that's how they all become baggage in your subconscious. And then you take it into your next relationship. You take it into your next environment because you're not allowing yourself to feel. You're not allowing yourself to grieve. Your body wants to grieve. That is why your emotions are there. Your emotions are here to speak to you, to let you know that they're feeling sad because someone abandoned them. And this is when you have those emotions, you pick yourself back up and be like, okay, how can I not abandon myself in this moment? That person abandoned me. That job rejected me. But how can I love myself in this moment? How can I be there for me in this time of grief, in this time of breakup, in this time of loss? The same way you're going to want someone else to be there for you, you've got to be there for you first. Because the truth of the matter is that you can never love your neighbor if you do not love yourself. If you're telling me that you love your neighbor when you don't love yourself, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You cannot love your neighbor and hate yourself. That does not work. It doesn't work. So I really hope that you have taken something from this video on how to love yourself practically. I know it's not easy, but you can start with little steps, one at a time. But I want to thank you all so much for tuning into today's video. Happy Valentine's, my lovely people. You know, when it comes to Valentine, I always say this, like, don't wait for someone else to gift you. You go out there and gift the world. Go out there and gift the world your presents. You can see a homeless man, a homeless woman on the street. You can go out there, buy them a good lunch, even have a 5-minute conversation with them. That's you sharing love. It does not have to be relational or relationship. You can have your moment of spending time with God on Valentine's Day, just me and you, God, or just spending time with you, spending time with your friends. But remember, it's not all about you. Like, oh, it's all about me. My man has to get me a gift. Da 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 da. Beautiful. We all want that, but you have to start with loving you first, so you can love your neighbor effectively. So I'm hoping that you're going to have a beautiful Valentine's Day ahead of you. And I just want to say thank you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.